Yo everybody, what's up? This is your girl Dragon. It's time to complete the series. We're jumping into the Piece Control tutorial, part 4. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to finish your game. We're going to work on the game end area. Plus, I'm going to show you some play tests to show you what it looks like when the game runs. This is a pretty thick tutorial, so if you haven't caught the beginning, I urge you to go ahead and give it a try. I have parts 1 through 3 posted down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, that way you don't miss more tutorials like this and I can help you build more games. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and finish this tutorial. We're going to be jumping right into the game end area. And before we do that and take a look at the settings, let me explain to you what's going on here. So there's 2 processes that leads the players to the game end area. The first process is when the game starts, and this is our pregame. Remember from part 1? And they end up here in the team selector room. If a player does not select the team, they're going to be teleported here. And if they don't choose a team, then that player will be teleported here to matchmake into a new game. So this is the perfect process to keep players in your game. For example, if one player spawns into your game and they realize there's nobody there, they're sent to the game end area. That would allow them to matchmake into another lobby that might be full. Now the second process that allows players to end up in this game end area would be, of course, when the game ends. After 3 rounds, the game will end and players can choose to rematch or matchmake, and they are teleported here. So since we're using event binding, all these settings should already be connected. But we're going to go ahead and go through them because we have a few new devices here. And again, these are optional. Like if you want to have a rematch area, you can. And if you don't, you don't have to. You can just have the game end. And they can end up here. You have a timer device and it goes to an in-game device. Truly up to you. So let me just go ahead and go through all the different options I have here for teleporters. I have teleporter did not choose a team. They will teleport here. Teleporter game over. When the game is over, players will teleport here. This is teleporter game in weapon room count fail. If the count fails and they're in the team holding area, then the player is going to be teleported here because there's not enough players in a game. I also have 2 teleporters for winners, one for team 1 and one for team 2. So this is my team 2 teleporter and this is my team 1 teleporter. Let's go ahead and go through the settings for each one. For the teleporter, for players who do not choose a team, the teleporter group is none. The teleporter target group is none. It's enabled on all phases. It's set to a team of all. Change teleporter target is never. Link to target is no. Teleporter rift visible is no. Play visual effects is yes. Play sound effects is yes, but you can set these to no. It's truly up to you. Conserve momentum is yes. Face player and teleporter direction is yes. Effects class all but selected. Selected class is none. Effect radius is off. Maintain relative position is yes. Skydive after teleport is no. And maintain momentum during teleport to event is world. For functions, we have disable when receiving from is empty. Enable when receiving from is empty. And what we're looking at here is teleport when receiving from. Players will teleport here when receiving from the Mutator zone from players who did not choose a team. And they'll be teleported when the players have entered the zone. So this Mutator zone is enabled by a timer set in that zone. And when it's enabled, the players will teleport here. Now, let's move on to events. We have quite a few things going on when a player is teleported to this device. It's going to start the effect for the VFX creator, which is at our rematch area. It's also going to start a second one that I set there at the same area. And you'll see that here shortly. I'm going to have a HUD message device that says didn't choose a team, show. There's going to be a timer device that's going to complete when a player is teleported to this device. So that's going to be the timer device. Choose team is going to complete. And we're also going to disable the timer device choose team displayed. at the same time.
Now, if you missed tutorials 1 through 3, you might want to go back and check them out. That way you can see how all the devices are linked up.
Let's go ahead and move over to Teleporter Game Over. We have Teleporter Group None, Teleporter Target Group None, Enabled Phase All, Team is All, Change Teleporter Target is Never, Link to Target is No, Teleporter Rift Visible is No, Play Visual Effects is Yes, Play Sound Effects is Yes. Again, this is optional. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Conserve Momentum is Yes, Face Player in Teleporter Direction is Yes, Effects Class Only Selected, Selected Class Any, Effect Radius is Off, Maintain Relative Position is Yes, Skydive After Teleport is No, and Maintain Momentum During Teleport to Event is World. As for functions, we're going to be teleporting when receiving from Mutator Zone Game End when player entering the zone, and Mutator Zone Game End 2 when player entering the zone.
Now keep in mind these are enabled on 2 separate instances. So if you missed when that happened, I do recommend that you go back and check out tutorials 2 and 3.
All right, and then let's check out events. Events we have on Teleporter Send Event 2, Mutator Zone Rematch. We're going to enable that device. And we have the 2 VFX creators. We're going to start the effect at the device. And we have the 2 VFX creators. We're going to start the effect at the device as well as enable it. And so on. And since the game is over, we need to change the players back to global class. That's because they no longer need to be on teams, and they get a chance to rematch and choose their teams over again. We're going to show a HUD message that says the game is over. And then we're going to set a billboard text to visible that says rematch. And that is the Teleporter Game Over teleporter. Let's go ahead and move over to Teleporter Game In Weapon Room Count Fail. So this will only be used when the count fails in the weapon rooms. So for instance, if they are in the middle of the game and one of the players decides not to come back, then the count's going to fail and they're going to end up here. So when they end up here, they can matchmake into another game because they won't be able to rematch because there won't be any players in the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the settings. We have Teleporter Group None, Teleporter Target Group None, Enabled Phase All, Team All, Change Teleporter Target Group to Never, Link to Target is No, Teleporter Rift Visible is No, Play Visual Effects is Yes, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that to No. Play Sound Effects is Yes, let's go ahead and turn that to No. Conserve Momentum is Yes, Face Player in Teleporter Direction is Yes, Effects Class All But Selected, this is going to be a selected class of None, Effect Radius is Off, Maintain Relative Position is Yes, Skydive After Teleport is No, and we're going to maintain the momentum set to World. As for functions, we're going to teleport when receiving from Mutator Zone Team 1, not enough players, when players are entering the zone, and then Team 2, not enough players, when players are entering the zone. And looking at events, we have on Teleporter Send Event 2, Mutator Zone Rematch. We're going to disable that. And then we're going to say, hey, there's not enough players in the game.
So this is very important because when that player comes in, there will not be enough players in the game. So we want to stop them from rematching.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the winning teleporters. Starting with Team 2, we have Teleporter Group None, Teleporter Target Group None, Enabled on Phase All. This is specifically for Team 2. Change Teleporter Target is Never. Link to Target is No. Teleporter Rift Visible is No. Play Visual Effects is No. Let's go ahead and set that to No. Conserve Momentum is Yes. Face Player in Teleporter Direction is Yes. Effects Class All But Selected, and we have it set for Class 1. Effect Radius is Off. Maintain Relative Position is Yes. Skydive After Teleport is No. And again, Maintain Momentum set to World. All right, let's move on to functions. So we have Enable when receiving from Tracker Limbs Round Tracker 2 on Complete, and Teleport when receiving from Mutator Zone Round In when player entering the zone. As for events, we have on Teleported Send Event 2, the class selector global to change them back to global class, and a message that says game is over. Now you can change that to say, hey, you won, if you like. And then for team 1, it's practically the same, except it's specifically for team 1. Now you don't have to have two individual teleporters. If you want, you can just have one that will display a winning message. However, this is an option if you like to have two different ones with two different messages. Remember that we do have a class for team 1 as class 2, so we have effects class all but selected. Selected class is 2, so be sure to have that. And maintain momentum is world. As for functions, we're going to enable when receiving from tracker elims round tracker 2 on complete, and teleport when receiving from mutator zone round in on player entering the zone. As for events, on teleported, send event 2, class selector device, again to change them back to global class and show them a message that the game is over. Alright, so we do have a rematch portal here, and this only enables when there's enough players in the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We have a mutator zone that's going to teleport them back to the team selector area. I also have two VFX creators that has a little effect that comes on when the players come back to this area to let them know that this portal is active. And they'll also see the billboard appear when the portal is active as well. Let's first look at the mutator zone. And I named this Mutator Zone Rematch. I have allow weapon fire set to no, allow building is no, zone visible during game is no, base visible during game is no, zone width is 1, the depth is 1, the height is 15. It is not enabled during phase. It affects all players. It also affects creatures, and again, this is not going to affect it in any way. Pickup lifespan is infinite. Selected team is none. We have effects team all but selected. Selected class is none. Effects class all but selected. Allow editing should be no. Building cost is at 100%, but it doesn't really matter there. Building speed, I'll set that down to 25%, doesn't really matter. Jumping is allowed. Gravity is normal. Movement is normal. And we're going to enable the VFX. Again, you can set that to disabled if you don't want it. Let's go ahead and look at the functions. We got disable when receiving from, teleporter game in, weapon room count fail. Enable when receiving from, teleporter game over. And you can also have this enable when the winners come through as well. So let's go ahead and add that. There we go. As for events, we're going to have on player entering zone, send event 2, teleporter game in progress to enable. We're going to ensure they're back on the global class. We're going to enable the teleporter in the weapon room again, as well as the teleporter in the weapon room team 2. And this is because we've disabled them previously, and we need to re-enable them so the loop can continue, so the game can continue in a loop. We're going to teleport them back to the very first teleporter in the team picker room, which is teleporter team picker room 1. And then we're also going to enable the teleporter game in progress for team 1. So this mutator zone is basically responsible for re-establishing the loop. All right, let's go ahead and check out the rematch billboard. So I have it set for rematch for text, and the size is 24. And again, this is all optional, so you can do whatever you like here. We're going to set the text to visible when receiving from teleporter game over on teleported. And again, let's go ahead and add the other teleporters as well. There we go. Oh, and I also want to make sure I remember to set the text to hidden. And that could be at the beginning of the game here. We also want to set it to hidden in case a player did not choose a team. That way they won't be able to rematch and go back through the team picker if there's a game in progress. We also want to hide it if there's not enough players and the weapon room count has failed. So let's go ahead and add those. And there we go. And let's go back to the mutator zone. Also want to add that we want to disable this when receiving from the teleporter when the player did not choose a team. So if they're teleported here and they didn't choose a team, we want to make sure that they're not able to rematch. All right, and that completes the entire setup. Let's go ahead and run a test so you guys can see how this game is working. Let's do it. Let's go. Alright, so this is a test with just one player in the game, and I'm not going to choose a team. Alright, and there's the message. I did not choose a team. I'm in the game end area, and I can matchmake into another game. Also, I can't rematch because there's no players in the game, and I shouldn't be able to rematch. So I should be able to matchmake and see if I can find a lobby with more players. Now let's choose a team and see what happens. I'm up in my team room and I'm team 1, but no one is in the other area. I'm going to be transferred back to the game end area. There's not enough players and I should not be able to rematch. I'll have to matchmake into another game. Alright, let's go ahead and test 2 players with both players choosing a team. The players start off in the pre-game area, and they're both on the global team. One player will choose a team, and they'll show up on the player reference device. And as soon as I choose a team, I'm teleported to the team holding area. Both counts have checked out, so the game is going to start in 21 seconds because there's enough players in the game. Now this is based on a 2-round game, so there's only 2 rounds before the game ends. Right now the game has started and the players are able to battle. And once one player makes an elimination, they're teleported back to the team holding area. They remain on the same team and waiting for the other player to teleport to their area. Right, once the other player is back, the game begins again once the timer is fulfilled and successful, and they can start the second round. Alright, the game is over. I won the game, and both players are back at the game ending area, and they can choose to rematch or matchmaking to another game. If they choose to rematch, they're going to be going right back to the team picker area, and they're back on the global team, which will allow them to start the process over again.
Awesome. Alright you guys, that's going to do it for this tutorial series. It is now complete. I can't wait to see what you guys make. There's so many elements in this tutorial that you can use for other games. It's insane. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video. Keep it positive and keep it safe. Bye!